Bang bang badang ding dang diggy diggy digging bang badang ding ding oh bang badang ding dang diggy diggy digging bang badang ding ding yes black to black 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 look there's no need to worry and no need to fret if you think we was finished we ain't done yet. This is the platform where you can get informative topic with real intellect. Play talk good manners, raise the antennas. Andre and Karen as host the vibe. Facebook, Spotify and Instagram. You could also catch me on the YouTube live with positive content back to back. I'm inviting all people to black. Yes, no be on power, it's black to black. And everybody invited. So share it and like it. But we all are united and black to black. Yes, no be on power, it's black to black. And everybody invited. So share it and like it. Cause we all are united and black to black. Yes. This is your mortal immortal, inviting each and everyone to log on to all streaming platforms to Black with your host Andre and Karen. So subscribe, share, like and comment and come along. Let me enjoy the vibes. Diggy diggy, diggy diggy diggy, black to black, daga daga, black to black, black to black, black to black.
Greetings and salutations, Black Tuh Black.
Greetings, world. Welcome, Black.
Welcome, Black.
We are here with... I like to pick up people. Like I find in Trinidad and Tobago, we do our culture celebrating people like that around because you see them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think I don't like that. I find the same accolades that they gain Jay-Z and them. I could give you.
I don't know if I want Jay-Z's accolades, but I mean,
You
you know,
understand what I mean?
I will take
Props.
I will take a slight big up.
Right.
I will take a slight big up.
You know, so Mr. Attillah Springer is here.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we greet one another. We say, "Brother, how you doing? Everything cool?"
Yeah, man.
Goodness. Welcome to the show. We're very glad to have you.
Powers.
Before we go anywhere, tell us who is Attillah Springer?
Ooh, I am where to start? I'm a love child of revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Both of my parents were involved in NJAC as, you know, frontline members of the 1970 Black Power Revolution.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm literally the product of revolutionary love. My father, the late great bad poet, Delano Abdul Malik Dikoto. He was born in Grenada. So he was the son of Ozzy Dikoto and Thomas Peterson, aka Vanquish. Both who were born in Grenada. My paternal great-grandmother was born in Barbados just after emancipation.
Right.
She was a Garveyite. She was one of those thousands of West Indians who went to help build the Panama Canal. So that's my father's side. I am the daughter of the little Batalawa M2 Springer. She is the product of Santa Cruz. Her family came from Venezuela and St. Vincent. So my great-grandfather, Daniel Jimpy Atlee, was from Mespo in St. Vincent, Garifuna people. My great-grandmother was from Tobago. my great grandfather Juan Guerra was from Sucre in Venezuela, stowed away on a boat. He was sent here. In fact, let me tell you all a story about how revolutionary my family is.
We listening.
There was apparently, I mean, this is a family law on the Guerra side,
Right.
that the family name was not always Guerra, which means war,
War,
right? The story that we got was that our family name was actually Arias, and the our great grandfather was in some fight with the governor of the state at the time, and there was some land dispute going on, and so he decided that he was going to send his boy children to Trinidad, change the family's name from Arias to Guerra so that he could wage war. Right? So when I say that my family, that I'm a product of revolutionary love, I'm not just talking about my parents being involved in 1970. I'm talking about my father coming back from Grenada one time with a document that is the list of all the people who were hanged in Faidon's rebellion in 1795 in Grenada. And half of the people on the list have the name Dikoto, which is our family name.
Right.
I'm saying all those things to say that, we talk about things that people inherit. We talk about who we are as a people. My grandmother used to say, what in the blood have to purge, right? And if you were born in the Caribbean, without a doubt, there is some revolutionary story in your past. It's not just about that your ancestors were enslaved.
Right.
That's a small part of the story. But there was somebody in your lineage who was doing some kind of damage to the institution of enslavement in some way, and who continued that energy and that reality and that story beyond that time.
Right.
So when we talk about this generation not being revolutionary enough, or whatever we want to say about what is going on in the society now, I think it is also because we do not know those family stories. So I could tell you plenty stories about my family, because that is also part of our revolutionary legacy, that we dare to tell those stories. But many times I meet people and they don't know their grandmother name.
Yeah.
They don't know their great grandfather name. There's so many stories that are just lost because people do not, because they're afraid ancestral veneration, right? So even the idea of calling somebody's name and saying, this person was this, they did this, it means that we have lost so many stories about the things that our ancestors did to resist, to confront, to battle, to respond.
Yeah.
And so we feel like we have nothing to continue to fight for.
Yeah. I agree, because I don't know, beyond my mother's parents, I don't know nobody. Not a name.
Wow.
I do, and it bothers me, right? I found out that we from Mayaro, Guaya, through work, doing a woman stopped me. She said, "You're a high man," because I have one man in the lanyard, and she see my name. She said, "You're a high man." I said, "Well, yeah." She said, "Well, where you from?" I said, "I'm from Tong." She said, "Tong, it's a high man in Tong." I said, "Well, yeah." And that just exploded into a family reunion, and I took my mother down, and she was dumbfounded by how much I wanted her down there. So you're correct. You're correct. I think that's something that I would like to leave my children with, because they know me, they know my mother, they know they don't know my grandparents because they died when I was very young. So they don't know anybody beyond that.
Yeah.
They know my wife's grandmother,
Right.
because she died in her 80s.
Right.
Right. But other than that, they don't know.
Yeah. And this is a problem. This is a problem because there's no incentive for people to know their stories. Nobody in the school is teaching you your personal family story, far less for any story about Trinidad in general or the Caribbean in specific. Those stories aren't being told. So it means that we are growing up not just ahistorical for a general knowledge, we are ahistorical about our own selves. And that's a huge problem. So it's like you don't even know, why you have a propensity for this thing. You don't even know why you love to sing. You don't even know why, if somebody talk to you harsh, you want to fight immediately. Right? You have no context for those things. But I'm sure if somebody were to tell you a story, you would then suddenly find out, but actually, my great-grandfather was a stick fighter from this place, and he used to do this, and he actually killed a man in the ring. Or, you would get a whole different context for why you have a propensity
towards
certain things. It's like, for example, all these studies they do about hooliganism, like football hooliganism in the UK, for example. And they say, them fellas they are descendants of a certain kind of warriorhood that no longer has a space to be expressed. So where do they put all that energy? They put it into their football team. That's the Highland leader. That's the clan. That's your clan. That's your clan. At the end of the day, your football team becomes your clan. And what do you do for your clan? You just fight for your clan.
Fight for your clan.
It's strange. Well, I shouldn't say strange, but you start off by talking about, lineage and thing today. And one of my aunts called me today. She's my father's sister. And it's not the first time, but she went into a little more detail today. And we come saying this today. So she was telling me that her grandfather is the child of an enslaved woman. Right? We know his name, but he never was able to give them his mother name because his mother died when he was young.
Right.
But he still sang certain songs. It's again, and we saying that, I should say that because I did not grow up exposed to anything African up till I was 22 years old. The only thing I ever was exposed to African, it was Karen and I went to school together, right? We went Success Lab until there was history class in Form 5. Write an essay, I'll never forget this, write an essay as though from the perspective of you home and the enslavers come. That's the only thing I ever did in my life. Mentioning Africa, right? So my aunt telling me this morning that her grandfather was the child of a enslaved woman. She came here, and their roots is the Maasai people. That side of my family's tall. Right. She said my grandmother, who I still wish I'd met physically, was 6'4" or something. So
wow.
And her father was taller than her, towering
wow.
over her. Right? My father is taller. Watching my daughter.
Yeah, she
looking like at 10, looking like she going on, But one of the things that catch me, she said there are certain songs she used to sing, and she was kind of humming and thing. And what catch me is I don't know if you know this singer, Omoru Sangare. She's from Mali. There's a way that she starts some of her music, just like Angelique Kidjo. There's a kind of a humming that I just love, and I and my aunt
singing like that.
This thing now, because I haven't. Most of my friends and my family, my siblings and thing, my mother is locked on right now. She tell you there's nothing about my life prior to me being 22 years old and meeting my biological father that will show you that I would have been interested in these things here. Walking around in African clothes with this big wooden, I wear one of that as a chain.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Walking around with a mask and thing. Start this clothing line that's selling things that's saying black is beautiful and all that kind of thing. But as I say, we tie it back into where we come from. And if we don't know, I love that line from Malcolm X, have a line from that plenty, paraphrasing, but like, if you don't get each one of them nothing to look up to, they ain't nothing to fight for.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think that's one of the things we
100%.
do today. So that's
Yeah.
why on this program we want to bring people like yourself. We see you. I've been in certain spaces and places you like your mother. Your mother shut on my boot at the emancipation. Your mother come in my boot. Now I like to question them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It used to be from a place of ignorance and arrogance. It's no longer that. But it used to be. Now my vexation with the people from your mother generation is not being recorded enough.
Which is one of the goals we have, to try to interview them, yeah.
Because some of the things I hear your mother say, I'm like, so why the France I never heard this before?
Well,
Right? And she came in and in about 7 minutes gave the people who was writing that space 5, 6 hours a piece of history. And everybody's like,
yeah. Yeah.
so that's why to us having people like yourself here is very important, because you're carrying it on and you could also relate some of her stories to us. Yeah, so
Yeah.
the one to go, this one here, I didn't put them in order because sometimes I'll go, but you see this here, do we love the festival, or do we value the festival, and or do we just love the festival and not the culture? In terms of Carnival, African things, do we just love the festivals associated with them, or do we love the culture, and how do we bring it to that space where the both are one?
What are festivals for?
I listen, I learn it.
No, but
Celebration?
I mean, yeah, but beyond that, from an elemental and primal level, what is the purpose of a festival? Any festival?
That's a hard one, boy.
People coming together.
Oh yeah, fellowship, yes, definitely.
People coming together. Human beings are not solitary animals.
Agreed.
True.
You need community.
Fact.
Right? And so any festival that you have is about creating community. For African people, our festivals look a particular way. It's very similar for Indian people.
Yeah.
Very similar for Chinese people. Unfortunately, the Europeans tried out their violence on themselves
First.
for a couple thousand years before they exported it everywhere else, right? So the way that their festivals look is a little bit different. But they do have festivals which are about people coming together, right? So at the end of the day, any festival that you have, whether it is a festival like tomorrow morning, early in the morning, I'm going to Gangadhara, which is a Hindu river festival. Because the river is sacred. You need water. Anything, as Fela Kuti says, anything that's going on in your life, you need water. If water kill your child, you still need water to wash your child's body, to put it in the ground.
Yeah.
Water
Right?
no enemies.
Water get no enemy. Right? So what I'm saying is that it is not about the festival, it is about what the festival means. And the festival means people coming together. And the reason why anytime African people got together, it was a threat to the society, is why everything is concertinaed into Carnival. So I personally feel that, the reason why Carnival became so big in the first place is because, the Camboules, and when I say Camboulé, I mean Camboulé as in the Kikongo word meaning procession. The Camboules that used to happen in the communities all the time, they couldn't happen because there was so much pressure from society for those Camboules to not happen in the periods outside of Carnival time. They made laws in 1849. There was an ordinance 6, where they made it illegal for you to mask any days outside of Carnival, Monday and Tuesday. That means that you are essentially making it illegal for anybody who is doing any kind of Masquerade, right? Any kind of face covering, you're making that illegal outside of your Christian holiday, right? So what am I going to do? I still have to observe my ritual. So here what? I'm going to put my ritual inside of your thing, and I'm going to make sure that I observe my ritual there.
Yes.
I don't care about you. I care about my ritual.
Yeah.
Right? But what I'm saying is that there are many times of the year when that ritual is supposed to be observed.
Right.
And those times of the year when the ritual is supposed to be observed, and it can't be observed because, you know what, I don't want to go through the same heartache of getting locked up because I want to do my feast. And that's the other reason why you don't have, you know, like we lost the masquerade tradition from our Orisha yards. You think about it. I mean, now we are reconnecting the masquerade to the Orisha practice.
Yeah.
But there, you know, like in Liverpool's book, he talks about the fact that Congo and Shango bands were chased off the streets at Carnival time. Now, there's a reason why they weren't observing those rituals of masking at other times of the year. And it's because it was illegal other times of the year. So they say, all right, well, we'll come out Carnival time. And then they tell them that what they're doing is wrong at that time as well. So Carnival is a complicated animal. It's a complicated machine that I don't think that we have reached a place of understanding what exactly it is yet. But because so many people were forced to observe this Christian carnival, they totally transformed this Christian carnival into their image and likeness. You know, the lie of Christianity that God created us in his image and like him in his image and likeness. And then you go to church and you watch this like emaciated white man on a cross, right? Right?
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
When every civilization has created God in their image and likeness. Because here what? When all of us in the middle of a desert somewhere, waiting for a meteor to come and kill us because we're not sure, we have no language, we're really not sure what we're doing here, right?
Yeah.
The same acknowledgement of the chaos of existence that I'm sure our ancient ancestors would have created these festivals originally to do is the same thing that we still trying to capture now.
Right.
Because nobody has been able to conquer the final frontier, which is death. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody ever come back and say, well, you know, it's not really so bad, right?
Yeah. Could expect that. Could expect that.
So all civilizations are still confronting what death means. And for many festivals, we are just celebrating life.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're still here for another spring come back and we're still here. Oh my gosh.
Celebrate again.
Here what? Is the river fault? Thank you, river. You gave me fish and you didn't drown me when it was rainy season. So I'm going to thank you. And I'm going to thank the sun because the sun didn't bake me to a crisp and take away the plants that I had. And I'm going to thank the trees because the trees gave me food. And I'm going to thank the animals because the animals gave me a skin so that I could make a drum. And I'm going to thank this and I'm going to thank that. That's how, if you think about it, that's how spirituality becomes a reality. That's how it becomes a practical thing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, people start to get, as civilization starts to get more sophisticated and you could avoid death a little bit more, you start to abstract, you know, like make God into an abstract thing, right? God is this being in the sky. Which part? Which part? I could see God in the river. I could see God in my mother. I could see God in the trees. I could see God in the sun. That's the difference. But I got far away from the idea of the festival.
Right.
But I'm saying that the festival is a core primal celebration of existence. And the fact that Carnival is our biggest expression of that is both by accident and by design, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both by accident and by design. And I personally think that issue make it to be so.
All right.
I want to add in this here, because it's something I've said already, and a lot of people, some of them was very shocked, the people that disagreed with it. It's a time for us to move Carnival away from the Christian calendar.
But we could do whatever we want. We don't have to observe that. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't. We could. It's a choice. But I'm saying that if I want to have an open festival every weekend, I could do that. If I want to masquerade every weekend, I could do that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If I want to celebrate my existence every day, I could do that. And we have to make a choice about how that looks for us.
Yeah.
And if that's what we want to do, as we go into that, people talk about carnival mentality. But you know what? Carnival time is when the society is the most organized, the most peaceful, the most productive.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody that I know is highly alert,
during that time,
highly engaged in activity, with whether it is economic activity, creative activity, multiple levels of activity. And actually, there's a palpable energy in the space that speaks to the excitement that you feel when you are in a place of creating things.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we want to have that all year round? Why? If you're good at something, then do it.
Simple as that, huh?
But we are still chasing this this idea that, yes, well, we do this farewell to the flesh, and then we go into a period of focus. A lot of the people that I know who are involved in Carnival fast before Carnival.
Yes.
That's their fasting period. Right? So, but the fast is so that you are hyper focused on what you have to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So I want to go from there, because the reason why I had asked that is in terms of the moving the carnival away from that, is that when I started to listen, as I say, I didn't go, you born into this. I wasn't born into it. So when I started to hear things now, of course I started to hear it with ignorant ears and ignorant mind. And I was wondering, so why we don't just move the carnival away from that? You're forcing me to put it how much days before the Lenten period start or whatever thing. And it tied into this that I mean I was raging against the system of you're forcing me to be a Christian, but I didn't come from Africa, a Christian, and that kind of thing now. But now that, as you say, we have the power to do it if we so choose. How do we go about from, even if we leave it there, but how do we go about now archiving some of the things that your parents did, grandparents, because we're not sure, for lack of knowledge, of some of the people that did some stuff.
The work.
Okay, I wanna give two stories. The first is I took my mom to see one of her big cousins. So my mom is 81, and we went to see her big cousin who is 89, Auntie Beulah. Auntie Beulah was born on the 1st of August, 1937. So she was born exactly 100 years after emancipation, right? So I say to Auntie Beulah, Auntie Beulah's mind is crisp, right? Excellent memory. So I say, Auntie Beulah, you remember if they used to have emancipation celebrations when you were a child? She said, yes. They used to have big procession in Santa Cruz, and she said it was like a carnival. That's what she said. She said it used to have Jab in the road. It used to have all kind of different characters in the road. No, I'm saying that to say that people feel that what we call Cambule has to do with carnival, but we insist on the fact that Cambule comes out of the emancipation tradition.
Yes.
Right? And that to me, Auntie Beulah saying to me that when she was a child, because I mean her birthday was the 1st of August. So I asked her, you know, within that context, what kind of celebration did you used to have for your birthday? Right? And she confirmed to me that they used to have a carnival-like celebration on Emancipation Day. Now, this had nothing to do with church. It had to do with African people in a village remembering. And the specific mass that she called was Jab.
Jab, yeah.
Because Jab is a mass of reparation. Right?
Yeah.
Jab is a mass of reparation. You have nobody who can convince me otherwise. Literally, somebody as black as the devil, from a time when people used to call black people, they used to say, you're black like sin. I mean, I remember that being said up until when I was in primary school. Right? You take a mass and you make that a statement where you now demand compensation. Because what are you demanding compensation for? Because the Jab is supposed to be the spirit of somebody who was badly damaged or who died in a violent accident on a plantation. So how you coming back and you asking people for money? You're not asking for compensation. You're not asking for reparation.
Yeah.
Miss Carol of Prindella Fashions is always posts that Carnival is a celebration of emancipation.
100%.
And she's posted throughout the year. You know, so to come and hear that is kind of like reaffirming from somebody who, I mean, from 1939, can we imagine? 19, let me say, when she was 12 years old, 1943. I mean, I'm 1953, like, come on, imagine what it was like. This is pre-independence. When we still had all these laws and rules and regulations against. And she could still say that in that time.
And just consider around that same time, you see the spiritual wickedness of around that same time in the 30s. I think it was like the Legislative Council or somebody like that made a decision for August the 1st to become Discovery Day. Right? Because that pillaging rapist from Genoa, whose name I refuse to call, he allegedly landed in Moruga on July the 31st, 1498. Right? So because he landed here July the 31st, 1498, you will then take the day that was declared the end of what he essentially brought here, right? And make that Discovery Day. You're wicked. You're wicked. And that was so deliberate. It was so deliberate.
As
it
everything
was
else.
Absolutely deliberate. As everything else.
As everything else, yeah.
You know?
Now, I really enjoy your episode with Corey,
Yeah.
And I come to Andre immediately, or Richard Lashley, and I say, hey, we have to get she. We have to get she. I said, because I enjoyed that. I watched episode 3 times.
Serious?
3 times. Because when I work in the shop, it's be on the TV. Right? And we's not one of them podcasters who don't rate
watch
another
podcast.
Okay.
Annie Black. So you don't know. Right? Full support. And in my little research and thing, I see they call it the Jouvayist. Right? So the philosophy of the Jouvayist, reclaiming mud, paint, and liberation as tools for modern resistance, based on what you just say. You know, tell us how you're working that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I grew up in the family that I grew up in.
Mm-hmm.
There were two very important times of the year for us. Carnival time and emancipation time.
Right.
And, the talks that my mother would have with us, Juve morning and emancipation morning, were very, very similar. As in, somebody fought for you to have the right to do this, right? Somebody made it possible. Somebody put their life on the line, their body on the line in order to make this accessible to you.
Yeah.
Right? So, I grew up with this sense that Juve and emancipation morning were two extremely important mornings for me, right? Our Carnival Sunday into Juve experience when I was a child was we would go very frequently to Earl Jones's house. So Earl Jones was a great actor who brought to life many of Derek Walcott's most iconic roles. Right? So there would be a party at Earl Jones's house on a Sunday evening. And, Earl Lovelace has a great essay called Emancipation and the Almost Loss of the Steelpan, where he talks about this thing that used to happen on Carnival Sunday night when people would sit around. They would talk about the calypsos of the time. They would talk about what was going on the Marsh Gras. They would talk about, all of these things. And then you would go out into the streets and you would join your steel band. Steel band being the ultimate expression of Black radical tradition in action, right? And a similar thing would happen at emancipation time. Whether or not there was a holiday that celebrated it, because Discovery Day was celebrated from the 30s up until 1984.
Right.
And then in 1985, it was the first time that there was an emancipation holiday in Trinidad, right? But even before that, Jack and people like that, Lancelot Lane was a crucial figure in that, insisting that there should be this reintroduction or this introduction of an emancipation holiday, right? So I completely lost my train of thought. Juve morning. Juve morning and emancipation morning, this very similar experience. So like for emancipation morning, we would go to Jaja Oga Onilu's house, right? Rest in peace. He would blow the conch shell like 5 early in the morning. And then we would start to walk on the street. And I mean, I have clear recollections. I have clear memories being a child and us, this little ragtag band of Africans walking in the road and Black people standing up on the side of the road because we would go from Duke Street, we'd walk down East Dry River and then across South Key. I don't remember the full route, but I remember that part very clearly. And I remember, we were in East Port of Spain. There were Black people like us standing on the pavement, pointing and laughing at us. Because we look like we just landed from another planet or just landed from Africa. And I mean, maybe if we had landed from another planet, we would have been more palatable, right? But the fact that we had come from that A-word place was terrifying to people, right? Now, Carnival and Juve is a more accepted and perhaps a more normalized mass expression of Blackness because of that disenfranchisement that happened by putting it by this Christian holiday. So we going through the motions. We're not really sure why we're doing it, but we know that it's something that we have to do.
Right.
And we don't understand the full implications of it, but we're doing it because it has something, the Jambi, that calls you to the road to observe that ritual. Right? But emancipation, that's a problem. But it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
vibe,
And in
yeah.
fact, the emancipation energy was put into the carnival space for the reasons why I mentioned before.
Right.
Right? So as a teenager, so by the time I was like 14, 15, I was fed up of doing that with my mother, right?
Yeah.
So we started looking around for things to do. And then by the time I turned like 16 or so, Tricanal was in its pre-Tricanal form,
Phase,
which was Juxtapose. So Juxtapose was in existence. And because Wendell Manwaring was one of my mom's theater children, I was allowed to go and play with them.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean, those early years were interesting. I mean, we would just be roaming in the streets. It was always, and like talking with Wendell now about those experiences, it was always like, are we going to make it through the morning? Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
You see a fight, you ting. And then, of course, a year of blue happened, which was literally 10,000 Blue Devils coming down, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And that just, like everybody else in the band, I cried. I was totally bewildered. I did not know what to do with myself. I was about 18, somewhere like that, 18, 19 years old.
Right.
And, but it just solidified something in my mind for me.
Yeah.
And I began to remember what it was like seeing like desperados coming down Frederick Street when I was a child, right? My father was a desperados man.
Yeah.
So invariably, he would be in the front of the band, naked to the waist with a tree in his hand, chipping in front of the band. And that is the recollection that I have. And I mean, I am with my mother inside Woodford Square because, that's a little bit dangerous for a child.
Yeah.
So, you have to watch from a distance.
Yeah.
And, that danger, it was like I was outside of Woodford Square now. And I was in this thing, which was not quite desperados, but it was the same desperados people. It was the same young people. It was that same exuberance, that same excitement, that same just that energy of a bunch of young people who are looking for it. Whatever it is,
yeah.
That was also the year of Big Truck, 1997. That was a year when things just totally shifted. I mean, literally turned the world upside down.
Yeah.
But that Juve morning, I think, solidified in my mind that Juve was the thing that I loved the most about Carnival. Right? Although, as I said, I cried. I was overwhelmed. At the time, I was working for 96.1. So I don't think that I lasted. And, like Chinese Laundry was the truck that was on the road.
Yeah.
And so I ended up on the truck because I was just so overwhelmed. Like I came off the truck for a little bit and I was like, what is this? What is this? I mean, and I remember having that same experience in Grenada a couple of years ago. Like, this is the Juve that I had when I was a teenager, when Juve was this kind of it was insane, the energy that was on the road. And as a young Black woman, to feel no sense of danger, although it's dangerous, right? And to use that safety but awareness as a tool anywhere else in the world that I traveled.
Yeah.
I mean, the things that you learn on Juve morning will get you through any situation, whether it's an overcrowded train in Delhi, right? Or whether it's, a stampede that's happening outside a concert, right? what you learn Juve morning is
That's
for
the training.
life.
That's the
That
training
is the
there.
training ground. That is the training ground.
Wow.
Right.
The things that I learned being a flag woman for Tricanal for years, you know, how to make out if a band turning left or right,
Right.
how to navigate, how to get people to walk on the side
Yeah.
and not get run over by a by a truck. All of those things are things that, you know, are important skills that I don't think that I would have learned anywhere else. There is no school that you could go to that teaches you that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Also, the sense of ownership of your body,
Mm-hmm.
the sense of submitting to the chaos of the moment, because Juve is a thing that changes from second to second. It's very much like the Gael, right? And I've never fought professionally, but I've been in a Gael enough in training situations to understand that, you know, there is a moment at which you have to trust your muscle memory and your physical instincts more than you trust what your eyes seeing, right? Because, you know, your body actually has to anticipate something before it happens, right? And this is what Juve taught me as well. So Juve for me is not just abstract philosophy. It is about a way to occupy your body, right? It is a way to occupy space.
Right.
And so, you know, it's like now, you know, in the US, you hear a lot of African American women talking about take up space, take up space. I was like, well, this is what I've been doing my whole life in Carnival. This is what Carnival teaches you.
Yeah.
This is what Juve morning teaches you.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to get hit in the face by a flag. You know? So I'm, you know, the lesson of taking up space has been one that, you know, especially I think that Juve teaches. A few years ago, somebody was doing a story for New York Times on Claudia Jones. And I was saying that for me, Claudia Jones was the ultimate Jouvayist because she took the principle of Carnival being about taking up space and taking and revisibilizing yourself in your Black body. She took that philosophy and totally changed the way that British society saw her and saw Black people in England. You know, she was living in the US. She was deported from the US.
Right.
They did not want to bring her back to Trinidad because she would have been too much trouble. So they sent her to England because we were still a colony, right? But then what happens is that now Claudia Jones is a big thing in the Communist Party USA. And when she reached England, Communist Party UK has no time for this Black woman. So she said, oh, it's like that. Okay, here what? I'm going to create community for me. Right? And that's what she did. She created the first Black newspaper, West Indian Gazette. She created the first Black beauty pageant for Black women. And she had the first indoor carnival where it had people like Edric Connor, the first Steelpan, Bosco Holder, choreographed the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the proceeds from that, she took and paid the legal fees for young men who were involved in a race riot, right? So just imagine if she hadn't had the lesson of Carnival, if she hadn't had the lesson of Juvaism, taking up space, right? We would not be at the point where we are now, you know, stooping about Notting Hill Carnival in the way that we are, right? Because Notting Hill Carnival has, you know, has devolved into something that I don't think the people who initially envisioned it. So after Claudia Jones did her indoor carnival, and then he had people in Leeds do their first street procession, and then people in London started to do their thing. you know, and it was all for the sake of people being visible, Black people being visible in a space that did not want to see them. You know? So Judaism for me is about, yes, it is about liberation, but it's liberation on so many different levels. It is about physical liberation. It is about spiritual liberation. Because I remember there was another Juve morning going along Arapita Avenue, stopped by the corner of Woodford Street, not Arapita, Chagrick Road. And I saw the late Erin Folami. He was a Egungun priest, priest of ancestors. And he said, you all don't understand this Juve thing, you know. This is ancestral. This is an ancestral procession. This has to do with ancestors. Your face not supposed to be uncovered. You know, the thing is, when you think about it, the mud, the paint, all of those things were about, hiding identity. So you don't have a mask, but you are covered from head to toe so that nobody can actually recognize you. That in itself is taking on another persona, taking on another energy, right? So this idea that we cover our faces to symbolize that we are not ourselves on Juve morning. We are something beyond. We are something beyond. So, since then, I always have some kind of face covering. Always.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad a name like Baba Erin Folami was called here because before I came into Orisha devotion, I met him. And you would know that his spirit reminds me of Larry Clark. A matter of fact kind of, not afraid to say, And I remember he saying, and of course I didn't know, so I like, what? Come and see me. Come and see me, we are the two. Who's you telling me?
Who's you?
And then about 2 years later, end up in a Orisha yard and met him in different spaces and places again. He never forget 2 hours. I remember he coming to the village. This is a powerful memory of a Chief Erin Folami, right? He coming into the village Emancipation morning after the procession. And all white with about 3 or 4 other people with him with the tall staff. And the way he come in is like all of a sudden it have nobody behind him. So all you seeing is them. And he in the front leading. That burned into my memory. Right? Even Leroy Clark, like I often wish that I had the idea for this while he was still alive and I still had access to him. I spent a lot of time with Leroy Clark in the last 2 years of his life. A lot of time. Right? Earl Lovelace is my uncle. Right? Earl Lovelace is my great uncle. He's my grandfather, little brother.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Right? I've never sit down to chop it up with him. It's something that we're trying to make happen.
Great.
Right now. But he knows me and I think.
Great.
So when I hear, like, oh, you in speaking about this and you mentioning it, I'll be like, I do myself a disservice way. Because I grew up with my grandfather. His name is Black Tuh Black. He's the wisest human being I ever met. I'll be like, I see what they're talking about, but I go and find this man, and because I've always liked sitting at the feet of the elders and just talking to them, how you use the word Jouvayist, is that something that you teach young people?
I mean, I feel like I teach by example.
Right.
I'm not, I've run from the title of teacher for most of my life because I I just feel that, you know, there are people much more qualified than I to do that.
Right.
That's why you teach.
But I can't get away from the fact
Oh,
that
yeah, say that. Yeah, no, that's it. That's why you teach it. Because
yeah. And I mean, you know, I remember meeting a young woman one day, and she said to me, "You don't know how much you influence on me in the sense that, you know, I saw, you know, like, because I have that on my Instagram profile, right?" She was like, "I saw Jouvayist in your bio," and I was like, "That's something you could do. That's something you could be." And so she said that, you know, just seeing the word, not even knowing or understanding what it was about, but you know, it was suddenly something. It just opened up her sense of what she could do and what she could be in this life. You know, I mean, I remember I had it on my business card when I was living in London, and it was always a conversation starter, right? Because then people would be like, "Jouvayist, what does that mean?" And then, you know, like I would end up having these amazing conversations with people.
because you can't Google that.
You can't Google it, right? You can't Google it. You know, I would end up having these whole amazing conversations with people about Jouvay. And for me, Jouvay is the thing that makes our carnival special. Because it don't have nothing called Jouvay. You know, like I was saying to somebody the other day, you know, that we still insist that Carnival was brought here by the French, right? And I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's an indisputable fact of a thing arriving at these shores. But the masquerade traditions that we celebrate and that we uphold have nothing to do with France.
No.
Right? And so I was saying to this person, I was like, okay, just ask them if they know anybody who ever went to France for Carnival. Just ask them. And they could tell you whether or not, you know, because all of us will be running down to go to France for Carnival. And we're not. So to me,
You never hear nobody say
nobody
one
say
day.
France Carnival is a lituation. Oh my gosh. No, you never hear that. You never hear that. You don't even hear people from Guadeloupe saying that they're going to France for Carnival. No, people leave France and go to Guadeloupe for Carnival or go to Martinique for Carnival. Not because it's French, because it is African.
It is African, yes.
Right?
Like the football team. Like the football team.
I really want to hear your thoughts on this one. What happens when a society forgets its revolutionary origins?
It will be forced to replay the same thing over and over again.
And based on that right there, are we living in that today?
You know, Frantz Fanon talks about every generation must find its purpose and either fulfill it or betray it. And I am not, I mean, you know, I am not of this Gen Alpha, Gen Z. They have to figure out what their mission is and either fulfill it or betray it. I feel like, you know, the revolutionary things that post-independence generation did had to do with us, you know, really synthesizing the information that we received from growing up in revolutionary households. So what does revolution actually look like? You know, is it about armed struggle? I can't say that that's something that I am prepared to do. I'm prepared to fight to defend my life and the lives of the people around me. But, you know, my dad had dementia and he like plenty days he would think that I was his sister or, But let me tell you 2 things he remembered. Forward ever, backward never. And being held on death row during 1970 because the prison officers did not want to have political prisoners integrating with the main population because they were so terrified that there would be some kind of radicalization and revolution happening, right? So he very specifically remembered everything that happened to him in prison, right? I'm saying that to say that I'm too cute to go to prison, right? And we live in a time now where I personally feel, and like having been involved in environmental protests in different parts of the world, one of the things that I've seen in certain movements, say in the UK, in Northern Europe, is that there are certain people who will make the sacrifice to put their body in prison. And they understand that Black bodies should not be visited with that kind of violence. So I am not saying to anybody, child, to go and do something that will land them in prison.
Right.
Because I know the difficulty that my father went through dealing with that. And I know the difficulty that a lot of those other brothers who were in prison in that time went through.
Right.
It was not an easy time. I mean, my grandmother, my mother's mother, had a nervous breakdown in 1970 because my mother was directing plays, and she did a play which was about Charlie King. Charlie King was the police officer who was hunting Butler, right? She did this play about Charlie King, and then it was Christmas time, and the next day, a police officer was at my grandmother's door, clicking a gun by her head, saying, "Yeah, we have a bullet for your daughter." My grandmother had a nervous breakdown, right? My mother, I joke about this with her a lot, but, I'll try and get her to do some yoga, and I'll be like, okay, unclench your jaw, unclench your jaw, and I'll be saying it for like 10 minutes, unclench your jaw, and then eventually she'd just be like, Attillah, my jaw has been clenched for my whole life, right? And, the reason why my mother did the things that she did was so that my life would be different, right? And that I could walk anywhere that I want to on the planet and not feel a certain kind of fear, right? And she did that job really well. My father did that job really well. I am not doing that in these times. It is a different time in terms of what revolution looks like. For me, if revolution is not about making sure that you could convince little Black boys to not pick up a gun, to do harm to themselves and their communities, then what I'm doing is not revolutionary. If there are women who live down the road from me who cannot see their way to see about their children, what I'm doing is not revolutionary. It don't matter how much Frantz Fanon I know. It don't matter that I could quote half of Black Jacobins. That does not matter. If there are people in my community who are not in a state and in a stage of life where the struggle is still not an immediate concern for them. That is a problem. part of what happened with Black Power is that because there was so much violence involved, a handful of families retreated, right? And you know the families, there are a handful of families who were involved directly in Black Power, and those families retreated into each other. Because the work that they were trying to do, I mean, they were doing endless work. I mean, I'm working on this project right now, and I went into my mom's archives, and there was a pamphlet called East Dry River Speaks, right, where they were educating people on different things. They used to do all sorts of like, at the time, Nestle was aggressively trying to push women towards formula as opposed to breastfeeding, and all of those things, and like Asha Cambon and N2 and Ola BC, and not Ola BC, but Lizelli and this one and that one. They would be going places, bearing their breasts and feeding their children. That was their revolutionary action. That was their revolutionary action. So I'm saying that revolution is different. And in the same way that we talk about passive resistance and active resistance within enslavement, we need to talk about passive revolution and active revolution in these times. Right? We need to be able to know, my spiritual mother, Ia Lorisha Melvina Rodney. She used to say something. Now consider that there are still people living in Trinidad today who have, like a case that was dropped, or they just stopped going to court for drumming. Right? Because drumming was illegal. Right? No. It was repealed in 2000 by the late Basdeo Pandey. I just want to stick a pin. I just want to stick a little pin and talk about the fact that the so-called Party of Africans never saw it fit to remove all of those things. They never saw it fit. They had no interest in that. And, I want to be vexed with them for that persistent and consistent lack of interest in doing the difficult work of healing the trauma that African people in this society collectively have. And the late Eric Williams, he was a student of history. He wrote one of the most important texts on the question of capitalism and slavery. And he did not understand, or maybe it was not on his agenda, to address the fact that there were generations of African people living in this society who had not dealt with the trauma of what they had experienced, right? So, yeah, I mean, we have this situation that we need to deal with, which is that our revolution needs to be on multiple levels. It needs to be on the level of making sure that I know teachers teaching in schools right now in Trinidad who know that there are children who are going to these schools whose families are making decisions about which child is going to eat which meal. Right? So our revolution has to be a food revolution. It has to be that, our communities need to be able to feed themselves. Somebody, I don't remember who it is, but they said that a revolution that cannot feed itself is a failed revolution. Right? Now, again, the community, the families who were involved in 1970, collectively, they retreated. They retreated into their own little community. Yeah. So we had naming ceremonies for us. And we had this for us. And we, you would see us come out in public for emancipation. But
that's about it.
And that was because of the trauma of what happened.
To them.
To them. Right? They carried a lot of pain. Some of the children carried a lot of pain as well. This is something that I talked about, like the early children, the children who were born late 60s and got the African names first. You could imagine the terror that they experienced in the schools. I mean, by the time I came along, it wasn't so bad, but it was a terrible thing to be in a school with an African name.
I just want to say to you that as an adult, I could very well imagine how terrible that was, simply because there was a time when I used to work for one of the phone companies who is usually called Green in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And I used to work in the front office. And people coming in with their IDs to see about stuff and things. And I, with my so-called intelligent self, used to take your ID card as an East Indian and go in the back and get kicks with other people about the name.
Yeah.
Look how much letters in that name. But today people just do my name the same thing. And I look at that full circle moment and I say, oh, that's stupidity and ignorance to the highest. What am I going to do?
No, it wasn't. But you can't blame yourself for what you were taught. You have to blame the teacher. You have to blame the teacher. And there are a lot of people talking about these children these days, and it's all your fault.
Yeah, I always say that. I say we.
It is our fault.
Is we.
It is our fault.
Yeah.
We did that to them.
Yeah. I posted that this week.
Yeah. We're like, you realize that none of the children we seeing fighting, doing whatever we think is wrong, none of them will fall out of the sky. A man and a woman do something
to bring them
here, right? So how is it? I mean, I remember listening to a parent in my daughter's school say her son and the boy was having issues, and she's saying, if I see you fall along and boss here, you have to stay right. And that thing eating at me, because no matter what it is happening.
As a child.
This is not 15 and 16 now. This was 7-year-olds at the time.
Somebody told that parent that same thing when they were a child.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
The trauma.
If we're not dealing with generational trauma,
Agreed.
We are failing.
Agreed.
A couple of years ago, when the Japanese Pan woman was killed, we organized this protest. And I remember when we were writing the statement for the protest, the statement had a line in it about, we must confront the legacies of colonial violence in our society in order for us to blah, blah, blah. And there were people who were on the committee to this protest,
right,
who said, oh, no, let's not talk about colonialism, because then people are going to get uncomfortable. And, don't bring race into the issue. And I was like,
what?
Do not, under any circumstances, feel that I am sending out any press release that does not talk about legacies of colonial violence and cycles of oppression in this society. Because this is what we are seeing played out in our news cycle every single day. And, there's absolutely no contextualization of why violence is expressed in the way that it is in this society. I mean, what was the police service like before emancipation?
Slave catchers.
Basically. But you used to have you basically had what do you call it? Lieutenant, then you had the military, and then you had each county had a couple officers, because plantations had their own security, right? You had, as you said, slave catchers, right, who were part of the plantation staff.
Yep.
Okay, So what happens after emancipation now? When the people who 5 years ago, Huggins and Massey and those families who got reparations for the loss of their
Earnings.
property, right? So these people who were the property of these estates are now on the outside. And they are now a threat to this property when they were 5 minutes ago property. Right? So the police service was actually disbanded. If not, I think it was like in 1939 or 1940 or something like that. And not 1940, 1840. And in 1842, they reintroduced this police force, which had a completely different mandate, which was now the criminalization of black and brown bodies. Because in 3 years' time, what you have is Indians coming into the society, and they are also a threat to order. Right? And in fact, when you read the colonial, when you read like Bridget Brereton has an extremely interesting article on violence in the 19th century. And, it talks about the high levels of crime amongst indentured workers, that they were the criminals of the time. They were committing the most murders. They were committing the most assault of women, etc., etc., etc. Right? So consider that the police service is reconstituted to protect, essentially, the plantation class from
the workers.
Right? And the non-workers, because, all black people are lazy, right? And don't work. Although you made millions from their labor. They are not good workers, right? There are people in Trinidad in schools who are teaching our children that the reason why indentured Indians were brought here is because black people did not want to work. Right?
Rubbish.
But this is the rhetoric, and if you hear something enough,
you start
to believe it. And there are a lot of African people who believe that about themselves.
Today. In 2026.
Up to today. In fact, there is this thing about idleness amongst black people, which is extremely, it's such a dangerous narrative. It is so, like leisure is not something that we must have ever. We must not lollygag. We must not whimsically skedaddle. We must not have downtime. We must not have soft life. Those things are not for us. Those things are not for us. But let me tell you something. I love myself a little bit of soft life. I like to go to the beach on a Tuesday morning. I like to enjoy my life. I like to sit down and eat a bowl of starch mangoes. That is, and I deserve that. I deserve the luxury of that. That is a very important part of my existence.
Somebody, what we discussed, like, he keeps saying it, it's time to park a camera in the barber shop. Some of these questions we have in there, one of the things I say to people, one of the things we had to revisit is what is working hard? What is working hard, and how do you, I think everybody would express their joy of what they work for in different ways. But what is working hard? What is the early bird catch the worm? I think a lot of those things are tied into programming us to do things that does not totally benefit us in our wide scale.
Well,
right?
and I mean, this is my other criticism of the independence rhetoric, which was, what you need is a good education, and then you will go and find a nice work in the civil service, right? That was the programming
rhetoric, yeah.
for a lot of Black people
Yeah.
Still is.
in
Still is.
Trinidad, right? Go and get a nice public servant work
Yeah.
and thing, right? And you'll be good. You'll be
Yeah.
set for life.
Yeah.
Which means that you have a whole 2 or 3 generations of people who have no connection to land. If rain splash on their foot, they're screaming.
Yeah.
If a tree, if they get too close to a tree, oh my gosh, I know people who don't like sand.
Yeah.
They don't like the feeling of sand between their toes.
That's crazy.
And you're living on an island.
That is insane.
You're living on an island. I'm saying, also, there is this way that we have been separated from land, which also speaks to the fact that we litter so much, which also speaks to the fact that we are ungrounded, right? Which also speaks to the fact that we are eating too much processed food, which also speaks to the fact that, we don't have ownership of the place that we live, right? So you have all of these factors affecting our communities, and, it seems like the only thing that we are, supposed to be upset about is that the price of KFC raised.
Yeah.
I'm like, when the revolution comes and KFC close, what are you going to eat?
But before we close, right? I started to bring back this as I say that, because we sit down here in this space here. I'm a brethren, right? So it's things we will see and we will discuss. I remember during the pandemic, we was enjoying seeing people posting about the different things that are making home and things. One or two people open little small food establishments because the bigger ones are like, yes, we see that it's start to happen. They stand up right outside the way up. I'm watching a traffic jam, line up. Like, what causing this, boy? But he can't leave because he tripping. Just let me go to the road. It was the chicken place open back.
Wow.
I say, but just,
wow.
I was sad.
Yeah.
That sadness twice happened to me, that kind of sadness. That first time that happened to me? Black Panther opening. Oh, God. Yo, Andre, I need that jersey, boy. Take, or shall I say, I need that jersey, boy. Yeah, man, right, nice. Now, God, I see people and thing. And I catch myself 6 months later. And I hear nobody saying Wakanda forever. I mean, it's a fictional place, but I understand what it could do to you,
Yeah.
I'm seeing them people, I never see any that shit again. Well, they know they just buy too good,
Yeah.
Oh, what I mean, the take with all them billions and not in
Come back to
Registered in way, no kind of way, not even just in a financial way, but in a way where we hold on to. I mean, want to see what kind of. I keep telling them, I say, I saw when we had just joined Instagram, one of the most eye-popping thing for me I saw on Instagram was a picture of a white man holding a gun and a black man a little way off, and below it, primitive simply means he without a gun. That stick with me because they convince us that we're primitive. And one of the things they use is how he's dressed in Africa. And I be like, I mean, the heat we have in here these days.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a more constant heat than that. You want to put on a shirt and
three piece.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Fela Kuti also sang a song about that.
When I saw what he did in Black Panther, which was that scene where they're walking through the marketplace, is the best part of that movie for me. Because I see people just like you. I see people in short thing. I was very glad that they kept the red dirt and they also kept us in our natural element as much as they could based on what they knew. right? So I come back now to say, when we get heartbreak in this thing, I'm very, very sure we could go on for another 2 hours between your memory of things your mother tell you and your own experiences about heartbreaks when we come to deal with us as a people. What we try to close every program with is...
No, don't close yet.
What is that?
We can't close yet. We have one more question that I need to ask this question because I've been to Mexico, right? And there's a show that takes place at the end of
Right.
Xcaret is a what you call that boy? A theme park.
Right.
They go for the day, but at 6 o'clock the park shut down.
Right.
They carry you in the Coliseum and you get 2 hours from 6 to 8, 6 to 9, 3 hours, sorry, of the history of Mexico.
Wow.
Right? And I sat there on my phone because I had little Wi-Fi and thing, and I'm messaging my partners and I'm saying, boy, we're in Trinidad, we can get this.
Yeah.
Right? And then I listened to you speak on Korea again. And something that's bothered me, right? Because I catch my tail to get up 4 o'clock in the morning to try to reach Cambule, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that I want my children to experience. And I've always had a question, why hasn't, whether it's the Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Culture, why they have not put funding behind the Cambule celebration so that we could see it on a regular basis?
What do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you?
Tell me, I want to know. Why do they fail to invest in the carnival? Well, not in the carnival sector, but outside of the carnival season.
Let me tell you something.
Tell me.
You know, John Cupid was the person who started doing Cambule reenactment. He, in fact, did the first one in 1984, and it was scored by Lancelot Lane.
Right.
And he did it as part of Point Fortin having an emancipation celebration, right?
Right.
Okay.
So go easy with something that we never even hear. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Now,
Continue.
I personally think that when John Cupid started doing the Cambule reenactment, he had no idea what he was doing. As in, he didn't know the magnitude of how just doing that little thing outside All Stars could totally shift the conversation that we're having now about Carnival. Right? Now, again, I would say that I have to give a lot of kudos to Miss Entu, my mother, who really she took a lot of jamming, a lot of bois for writing a play that was not just about the fight, it was about the people who were involved in the fight, right? So up to today, there are still people who say, "Oh, this is not a real reenactment." I was like, no, well, that was not what was intended. 1, and 2, there is no genuinely accurate historical record
Of that.
of, not just of that. Yes, you have court reports, you have the newspapers, but who was writing those things? Those were written by members of the planter class. And even if some of them had sympathies to the Jammets, they didn't really have an understanding of what was going on. Which is why, in the way that the Cambule and the Jammet Carnival is always described, you always hear words like barbaric, savage, wild, loud, shrieking noises, obscenity, blah, 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 blah. Because that's all they could see.
Yeah.
Right? They couldn't see anything else because Africans have no spirituality, they have no this, they have no that, right? They have no civilization, as we were just saying, they're primitive.
Right.
IFA is not a sophisticated system as far as they are concerned, right? So, okay, cool. So even in the defiance of telling the story of people who were in these communities, living harsh and terrible conditions, that is a problem. And for many years, it was a problem. And I would say that, it became too big to be ignored.
Right.
And that was literally only through my mother's dogged persistence. And, the fact that she is really open child. She, she wants you to put an obstacle in her way so that she could chop it down. She is that girl.
Right.
The real turning point for us was COVID. It was the pandemic.
Right.
Because we said, well, we don't care if there's no carnival. We have to observe our ritual. And we did. We kept doing things during COVID. We kept the conversation about Cambule alive. And so all of a sudden, people who would always be distracted by Fet, Bamsi, and beads, suddenly they didn't have that anymore. So they had to focus on something else. And all of a sudden, now I see people who have no earthly association with anything to do with resistance and rebellion, claiming Carnival as a time of resistance and rebellion. I'm very excited about that. But I'm just saying, you cannot tell a story without having the context. Right? And Cambule is where we are trying to give context for why you feel a particular way on the road for Carnival.
Right.
No matter where you are, whether it's in a big beads band or whether it is in a steel band, you feel that energy no matter where you are.
Right.
Because the energy is of all those hundreds of thousands of ancestors who beat drum illegally, who shake shak illegally, who raise up their clothes and whine in police face, who used to stick fighters used to commandeer land so that they could train for 3 months before emancipation and before Carnival. That was what they used to do. Right? There's a story about on Emancipation Day in 1838, a big gale happening in Talparo. Right? All of these things were being done in opposition to the fact that the society did not want people to do this. In 1891, there was a riot that happened on Easter Monday in Aruca. Right? So again, I'm saying the whole thing about Carnival is not just about Carnival. And Cambule is not just about Cambule.
Yes.
Stick fight is not just about stick fight. In the same way that Parang is not about Christmas. Parang have very little to do with Christmas. It was literally the only time when Pios could get a little time off my great-grandfather, he used to leave Santa Cruz and disappear from Christmas Eve until New Year's Day.
Right.
And we did not know where the hell he was going. For years, and it was only when there was a big family reunion happening and they met some cousins from Brazil village and from Siparia that they then found out that he was going to meet his brothers to go on parang all over the place. And, so one cousin said, yeah, and Papi used to, he had a brother who used to come from Santa Cruz, I think. And then everybody who was still alive, who knew the story, was like, oh, right? So I'm saying all of that to say that the people, to go back to what I was saying at the beginning, the people who are making decisions about how money is spent at Carnival time do not know their stories. They don't know their stories. And so they have no interest in preserving any story.
All
right. And maybe when they realize that there is some value to it, because, for example, with the whole I Show Speed scene that happened, there were so many young people who had never seen stick fighting before, who got to see stick fighting because of I Show Speed. Now, you could say what you want. You could say, oh, he's a streamer, he's do this, he's do that, he's do the next. And I would say, issue make it so that this fellow would come so that
million people.
we could see ourselves reflected back at us. That is a real lesson there. And sometimes what you need is for somebody else to show you yourself so that you can say, hey, but I'm nice, boy. You know, hey, I have something to contribute. Hey, I have something that is good. Hey, I have something that is of value. And now I think that it's also being seen because Grenada is just being their authentic self. They just jabbing. If you have a problem with it, you have a problem. Don't come.
Don't come.
And my thing is, we need to get to the point where we feel so cool about ourselves and so comfortable in our skin that Carnival could just be about us. And once it gets back to that point where it's just about us, and you know, we are playing ourselves and an amplified and beautiful and, you know, imaginative and creative version of ourselves. Then people will come back and say, it have something about this place that makes this carnival special. The same way that Grenada have their special thing, same way that St. Lucia have their special thing, same way that Haiti, rah. Oh my gosh. What? And then, sorry, I know I'm over talking.
No, go ahead.
Just as an aside, you know, another thing that came out of this whole I Show Speed thing is that you have all of these people who are talking about, but Jab is from Trinidad, and Jab is from Grenada, and Jab is from, you know, no. We are the first ones to do that. You did not. It came from somewhere else. It came from Africa, and it's just that you came off on the boat here. And
our boat stopped.
It was just a matter of boat stop. The form was there. The form was there. It's the same way, like how you have Mother Sally in Barbados, and you have Dame Lorraine in Trinidad, and you have Ekudida, and you have Gelede, right? It have a mother somewhere. No island is the mother. No island is the mother. Stop this stupidness.
Stop it,
It's so boring. And you know, in the whole conversation, nobody's saying the word Africa at all. At all. No. You're talking about, oh, no. And Dominica had the first Juve, and we just do this, and Dominica has the longest running carnival.
Please.
Okay. Because the French arrived in Dominica first. Okay, all right. If that's a flex for you, cool. You had a longer established slave colony. All right, cool. That's not a flex.
That one was saying that we start a symbol.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it have nothing to do with that. It have to do with the fact that the people who dropped off on this island, they had this group of memories, right? And they replicated those things. And sometimes the people from this island went to live in this island. And they had a memory of something that they used to do from here, and they come and they meet something very similar, and then they start to do this like how
they know it.
They know it here. And things change based on the circumstances, based on what you need and based on what you have. You know?
Nothing more than that.
Marshall said something to us, so I was listening to the interview. It was a short interview, and he was talking about the pilau. And he said if all of us sit down around a table, and we put the ingredients to the pilau, to your peas and rice, my pilau, your whatever, you realize it's the same food.
I want to finish by saying,
no, you cut close.
Dr. John Henry Clark tell us that about 50 years now. And I've seen a lot of people quoting it today, but trying to make it sound like it's them say it. But the first place that we can say we get it from is Dr. Clark. Like, yo, I want to say the term idiot boy. This difference between a Bajan, a Jamaican, a Trinidad, and a guy, and he's a St. Vincent, everything is really boat stop, you know. So on the boat, me and you come from the same village with cousins. But the boat dropped me here. This fold this white paper so. But your family, with blood, used to fold the paper so.
Yeah.
These cacaholes and them come today now to say that it's two different. So that idiots, it's the same people. And you know, say something very important. None of them is saying Africa, you know.
No.
I say all so well educated, all educated out of all your own mind. Because that education take Africa out of all your mind. Watching me today, I have friends my age who I went to school and watching me to tell me today, that don't matter. I say, it don't matter. I say, all right. And all that talk about Jesus and he take, I say, oh, the color thing don't matter. God don't matter, color don't matter, right? I say, well, do we brave ancestors did do in 1970? Or matter of fact, forget it. Today, tomorrow morning, Sunday, let's go to the church right up the hill up there. A beautiful structure with your black paint.
Paint and black.
Was the Chinese paint that used to come?
Lacquer.
And paint all them white statues black.
No. That's desecration. That's what my dad got arrested for.
Come on.
Desecration and sedition.
I'm saying to you, the reason why we hold on to so much of these things is because, and I've seen it surfacing a lot of black people don't want nothing to change, you know, they just don't want to be affected by the nasty system. They don't want change. They don't want us to go back to the land because they feel they have enough money to buy the processed food.
Yeah.
They don't want us to, all schools must be prestige. No. Because I want to say, my child going to a prestige school. People watching me in my face and telling me, have to have prestige schools.
Yeah.
So.
And now the black Americans talking, they different.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
They're not
I tell them,
African
all that FIDOs and foundational black Americans and things. Foundational to what? Show me. I like simplicity.
Yeah, please.
I like simplicity. Show me a place where you say you originated from that we could go back 10,000 years and find you. While you're doing that, I'll ask you to leave us with an idea for betterment for our people, because one of our cash lines is facing our issues, formulating solutions.
Whew. I mean, I will say, the late Kwame Ture, he spoke about the difference between organizing and mobilizing. Right? We love to mobilize, right? We can mobilize for anything.
Yeah, ready to go.
Right? We're ready to go. Because there is a kind of closed loop, right? So an issue happens, the people gather, you shout, you burn a tire, you ting. The police come and mash up the thing, and then a politician says, yeah, well, we could deal with it, right? We will get more cars, and we will get more, and we will extend the SOE and blah 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 blah. And then an issue happens, and then
the cycle starts.
And then the politician comes back and says, yes, this is something that we're really concerned about, and ting, and then it dies down, and then the issue happens, and blah blah blah. Right? What is the challenge? What is going on between the issue happening and the people getting together? Right? Somewhere we need to shift that cycle to not needing the issue to happen, for people to be collectively organizing it for their community. And whatever collective organization means, does it mean self-defense? Does it mean education? Does it mean a breakfast program? Does it mean, rites of passage for young boys? Does it mean, a farm in every school? Does it mean restorative justice and conflict resolution training? All of those things are examples of organizing your community in a way that then creates, if something happens, you already have systems in place to deal with the thing that has happened. So you don't have to go out on the road and burn tire and quarrel and wait for the politician to come to give you platitudes. Because up here, you have a system in place that helps you to protect your community if something happens, right? So, it's like, for example, marronage, or in systems of revolution where you have armed struggle going on in the bush or whatever. So like for Haitians, you could hear a conch shell blowing from miles away. And if you trained, that means that you had to meet under the silk cotton tree at 3 a.m., right? In the morning, take this particular part, look and see if you see the timari on the ground. If it bends so, that means you had to go so. If it bend this way, that means you had to go this way, right? Look for the stone by the river, because that is so, right? When I tell you this story,
no, that's what I mean.
No, that's what I mean.
Right.
When I say, that's what I mean. When I turn the pot so, it was about coding and languaging so that you could survive, right? And we do not have a language of survival embedded in how we are living right now. Young people have it. They have it. Are they using it to protect themselves? I don't know. And I mean, think about the time that we are living in. The time that we are living in is a very strange, and it's not unprecedented. It's just, it's the time that we have come and met, right? What was existence like under enslavement, right? Would we have had the tools to organize for that? The reality that we have right now is this. How are we organizing to create these systems outside of that reality? And it has to be that we organize and not mobilize, right? And again, I go back to revolution is successful if people could eat. Revolution is successful if boys have options. Revolution is successful if girls are not being interfered with by their stepfather. Revolution is successful if people who have mental health challenges have systems in place that they could deal with them. Revolution is successful if all the old people in the community have options to eat when the day come, right? And you can only have things like that are systemic if you organize. Everybody I know is in a susu. That's a very basic form of organization. Why are we not using those examples of organization to expand what we need to do for our communities, right? So susu don't have to be about money. It could be about resources. It could be about who land getting worked on this month. It could be about whose business is getting equipped this month. It could be about whose community is being, secured this month. these are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. Organize or mobilize? I'm leaning on the side of organization.
Yeah, same.
You know? And, you know, the thing is, I have an organization and I deal with lots of young people. You have an organization. You also deal with young people.
Fact.
What is the interaction that goes on between these two organizations? How do we support each other? Might not be financial, but there is some way that we can support each other.
Yeah.
There is something that we could do that boosts what you are doing and then boosts what I am doing, right? And this is how we need to begin to work. But that takes also a lot of inner work, right? So we need to work on ourselves individually. We need to work on ourselves collectively, because as somebody who has been involved in different protests, I mean, you know, somebody in Parliament called me a professional protester. I think it was Larry Atcham. You know, he said that professional protesters were going into this community to protest against the building of the smelter on a road that was called Bukongo, right? On the apex of an aquifer, right? I totally lost what I was going to say, but that's a good sign for Sudan, because but organize.
Yeah.
And as somebody who, yes, that's what I was going to say. As somebody who's been involved in a lot of movements, I see things fall apart because we have not done the self-work. We have not done the work of creating, you know, systems of trust between people.
Yeah.
You know, there's a reason why those NJAC families retreated, because, you know, some of them were in active battle,
yeah.
struggle. And if you are a soldier, you have to know the people who are with you. You have to know them.
Yeah.
You have to know them, because you have to know that when you're top down for jiggers, this is something that my father used to say, who in the hole with you? And if we're not thinking about our organizations like that, then, you know, we will continue to deal with the treachery that we have seen in our communities. We've seen a lot of treachery. We've seen a lot of, you know, people selling out people. People selling out whole ideas. I mean, you know, to not bring it up when we're supposed to be done in, but, you know, Grenada should continue to be a lesson for all of us, that, you know, there will always be people who feel that they should have the power. That's one. And two, there will always be people who feel that the textbook know better than you interacting with a human being. And it have no textbook that has ever been written in the history of the world that could take the place of sitting down and reasoning human to human. You know?
I agreed on that one for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I
Again,
love it.
We have some people there that say we have certain people there.
Yeah.
So I say that no.
Yeah.
Yeah, come back. Because we will get that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it will always have more for us to
Talk
Yeah.
about it, yeah.
I mean, you know, like I can real talk, but I mean, you know, again, I also want opportunities for action,
Right.
right? So yes, talking is good, talking is excellent, talking is great, but I want to know who have land that need work. I want to know who, you know, who is teaching, use of plants. I want to know these things. I feel like if there are people who want to know, I have a certain body of knowledge, and there are lots of people who have other bodies of knowledge that I would also like to to have access to.
Yeah.
But there is a kind of passivity that has been bred into us from consumption of social media. That means that we feel we are there to consume, and we are not necessarily there to give back. And communication is also about sharing information the other way. And so, I would love to come back, but I want to come back and do something.
Sure.
It's not a problem.
Aside from talking.
Sure.
I mean, talking is, as I said, talking is how I make money. Talking is my whole life.
Yeah.
Right? But I also like to go in the bush. I also, I like to be with my people.
Right.
I really enjoy that. It's what I I thrive on that energy of people. Like last week Friday, I went to Desperados. They had companion sports going on.
Yeah.
Football and cricket
I
and
see a post, yeah.
playing cards and all that. It was so lovely to be in
that space.
in downtown Port of Spain on a Friday night, and people just liming
chilling,
and being normal.
Mm-hmm.
It was so lovely.
Right.
And I just feel like we also need to have those moments of connection and disconnection, because we are so tied to the news cycle. We are so tied to the next thing, the next disaster, that we are in a state of constant despair and overstimulation. And I feel like part of the reduction of that is to get out, to dance, to laugh, to play. And that's why Carnival, again, is so important.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
Well,
I want to leave with
4 minutes.
this African quote that the river that forgets its source dries up. Right? I heard that 15 years ago. I still have that on my email. So once I get an email from me, that's always at the bottom. And some of the things you say, it just bring it back to my mind. And so now we just finish here. Love is an action word. We can't talk love, we have to live in love. Right? The people on the roads, so we have to be safe, we have to be smarter than that. We have too much information, too much footage for people to be driving the way they drive, for people to be having any kind of accidents we having on the road. Right? And your neighbor is not necessarily a stranger. We have to get back to community living. We want more neighborhoods, we want to live in communities again. Right? So, peace and love.
Blessings.
Thank you for coming.
Blessings. Yes.